guys, Neil Kapchik here from Trench Fitness with this week's video blog. This week we want to touch on kind of one of the major things that we see or causes for concern when we have clients coming in and they work with us. And we have a special guest today. His name's Tyler Lane. He's recently joined our training team, so he's going to be working with clients and athletes in our training facility here. He brings a huge wealth of knowledge and experience. And everyone, this is Tyler.
Hey guys.
And he's going to work us through some things today. And basically we want to discuss shoulder health, shoulder stability and mobility, and just how those things and they present themselves in everyday life, how it might show up if you are having shoulder issues, and just different ways to work at correcting those issues. So Tyler, if you want to start us off, what's one of the most common things that we see in terms of clients coming in through the shoulder joint, some things that might cause some pain or things that might be going on?
For a lot of new people that might be coming into the gym for the first time, or even people who are getting back in, and even those who have been training for a while, you might see at the shoulder itself, we can get you to turn sideways here, Neil. So right now Neil's in a nice neutral position. Back is pulled, we have a nice extension through the T-spine here. What you may see with people coming in is they'll be anteriorly rotated at the shoulder, so we'll have a little bit of a slump almost, it'll look like. You'll have a hunch coming through that mid-back. And what we want to try and do is pull the shoulder back into that nice tall posture where you feel like you're pulling and pinching your shoulder blades together. But that'll come naturally once you strengthen up those muscles through the mid-back and through the rear of the shoulder. All right, so if we come and we look at that from the front, if you get into maybe you're doing an upright row, you're working through some deadlifts and things like that, the shoulders will come down and slouch, and you'll still have that coming through there. That's going to negatively affect your performance, and you want to pull that back again, and that's going to help you drive through your lats a little bit more when you're working through some different exercises, and you'll be able to focus a little bit more on working through a more comfortable range through your shoulder to work through. So if we go through here, and we'll get Neil to raise his arm up. So this one here, and we'll bring the other shoulder up as well. So you might have people that come in, they might be a little bit high through the shoulder. We want to relax through the traps and bring that down. Naturally, you're going to have one shoulder that's going to be up a little bit higher than the other, depending on which is your dominant hand. So we'll just try and work to level that out as well. Some of the main reasons that we might have for that anteriorly rotated position through the shoulders, that can include being tight through your the front of your delts, through your chest. That can pull the shoulder joint forward on you. If you have weakness through your mid-back and through your upper back, those muscles aren't going to be strong enough to help you bring that back into a neutral position, so you want to focus on working on that. And also, a lot of people may spend their day in a position, if they're working at a desk where they have their hands working and typing like that anyway. So they're spending a lot of time in that position. They come into the gym, we can hit some corrective exercise to try and pull that back and regain that good posture through there. So you can also work through on exercises depending on where you're at. If you're working out of a compromised position, that might lead to bringing that forward as well. So when you're in the gym, you want to focus on holding through a good posture through all of your different movements. That's going to help to bring that back.
Cool. So the other thing, maybe just before we go forward, is we'll touch on just certain exercises that might be performed incorrectly that can also lead to some of those bad positions and some of that pain as well. So specifically when I think about this, and we see a lot of people come into the gym and the bench press, which is a really, really popular exercise, but it's often performed very poorly. Bench press Mondays, right? So often performed very poorly. So just really quickly touch on maybe some of the poor positions that people get into in the bench press and just how to get into a little bit better positioning.
All right. So for a lot of people, when they come into their press, a lot of people are going to start, they're going to be loose through their upper back. So they're going to have quite a bit of space in between. If I can get you to just turn around here, Neil. They're going to have quite a bit of space between their scapula. So when you lay down on the bench, you want to make sure you pull your shoulder blades nice and tight so you're fully retracted. The tighter you can get this, the more you're going to have a nice base to push from on your pressing movement. And a lot of people, when they get in, they may have their elbow up and level with their shoulder when they begin their press. So they're going to lower the bar down into this position. And this is just going to put your shoulder in a compromised position where it's maybe not as strong as you would like. So we're going to drop the elbow down a little bit. We're going to think about 30 degrees from the shoulder to the elbow when we're going to be pressing, and that's going to help you really draw back in, stay nice and stable, and push back out. So if you start with your elbow up too high, a lot of the times you'll see is that the bar positioning when it comes down to the chest is going to be up almost on the upper chest. We want to bring that bar down below nipple line and work a little bit down lower and really fire through those pecs as we're pushing through.
So we've gone through kind of some of the bad positions that people can get into. And Tyler, if you just want to touch on how these might present themselves in terms of pain or issues that people might have going on that they can kind of look for.
Sure. So if we have problems that we're dealing with through the shoulder, we might have specific pain right to the shoulder itself, but these issues can work their way down the chain, through the elbow, sometimes even down to the wrist. You might also find that for people with poor mobility, when they come up, so Neil, I'll just get you to pretend you're doing a wall slide for me. So both sides up. So when we get to a specific point here, if we're having mobility issues, you'll see a lot of people, they may drop their head with the chest coming, or with their chin coming down to their chest, and they might start to feel very tight through here, or through their pecs, and that can present a problem. So when we come up, we want to come with the wrist coming over the shoulder, and for some people, once we have the hands clear by the ears, we can really have a lot of trouble with that. So we want to work through there, and we want to try and keep that chin nice and neutral while we're working through, trying to rehab that shoulder a little bit. And once we can finally get into a spot where we're pressing out of a good position, then we can use those strength exercises to build on the stability through the shoulder, and we're going to improve the mobility through there.
All right, so we've gone through a little bit of just kind of the issues that can present through the shoulder joint, how they kind of show up in the gym when clients show up, how those types of things happen, and how people do get into bad positions. So we want to finish off here today. Tyler's just going to kind of go through some corrective type movements, some mobility and stability type work, and then just some strength training cues to think about that are going to help keep you guys into good, solid, stable, and safe positions, most importantly.
Awesome. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have Neil hop into some work on the mini band. So we're going to start off with the band pull apart. So we want to keep the wrists nice and flat with the knuckles coming down. You don't want to roll back up and have your palms facing out away from you. So you want to keep that down. As you pull the band, you're drawing your shoulder blades together as tight as you can. Once the band gets to your chest, hold that for a 1 count, release, and let it come back. So you want to have tension on the band through the whole time. So when it's working back out in front of you, don't take a little break. Use that to help you out a little bit. So you want to work that overhand grip. We can go through a set there for about 12 to 15 reps. Then we can switch up the grip. We'll get the palms facing up towards the ceiling. The movement's going to stay the same. So you're going to come up, you're going to pull those shoulder blades nice and tight again, working through there. Same thing, we can get another 12 to 15. And then you can also work this movement diagonally across the body. So your hand that's going to be working up towards the ceiling is going to have the palm facing up. The hand that's going to be down working towards the floor, your palm's going to be facing down. So you're going to have that alternating grip. And from here, you're just going to start off out in front, and you're going to pull across your body. Same idea there, constantly keeping that tension on the band. Work 12 to one side, and then you can switch it up, work across the other way. Come through there. So we'll get this hand going up that side. Okay. So while we're working through here, make sure you're maintaining that neutral chin position. You don't want to be down into your chest, and you don't want to be looking straight up at the roof. Right. So you can also come into here. If you're by yourself, you can take the band. Your elbows are going to come in beside your rib cage. You want to have your wrists in line with the elbow. We're going to externally rotate at the shoulder, hold for 1, bring it back in. If you have a place where you can tie the band off, or you have a partner that you're working with, you can get them to help you. So I'll get Neil to grab onto the band here. He's going to set up this way. We're going to work an internal rotation. So we're going to come with the wrist this way, draw the elbow back in towards the ribs. We're going to bring that back to neutral through the wrist. And we'll just get him to spin in towards center line. So same thing for this. We're looking for about 12 to 15 reps on that internal and external rotation exercise. We want to keep the elbow in while we're working through. And there we go. Perfect.
So the big things here, you guys, as Tyler mentioned, is maintaining that tension on the band. So always being in control of the band, not letting the band kind of jerk you around.
Yep.
And then just maintaining stability and working through that full range of motion in a controlled type fashion.
Right, so those type of exercises there, that's going to target more of that mid to upper back, and then we're going to get into the rotator cuff with some of that rotational work. And so we're going to bust out the pipe here, and we're going to just do a quick little stretch through the front side of the body, through your pecs and through the front of your shoulder. That can help you to release some of the tension on there. So the looser we can stay through here, the easier it'll be to hold good posture. So if you're working with a partner, they can come in. You want to be careful with this one, guys, because a lot of people are going to have different range of motion, and you can help them to kind of force their elbows down towards the floor here. And you can even, if they're doing okay, pull the elbows up a touch. Work that stretch a little bit deeper in there, and then release back down. Awesome.
I feel looser already. Okay, so that's some mobility type stretching work you guys can implement. Tyler's just going to finish off because ultimately we want this to translate into better performance and progress in the gym being made. So taking some of this stuff, restoring that range of motion, making sure you have that full stability in the joints. How does this transfer over into our lifting techniques? So when we're bench pressing, deadlifting, squatting, kind of all those types of movements. Some cues that maybe you guys want to think about just when you translate over into the gym.
Yeah. Go in there.
Sure.
All right, so let's hop into the gym. Okay, so we're going to start off here. If you're comfortable with it, you've got to a point where you feel you can work overhead without any pain through the shoulder, then we're going to get into that basic movement. We're going to go with an overhead press here. So we're going to have Neil approach the bar. He's going to come up to it, press, roll his elbows down underneath, step out from the rack. So from here, Neil's grip is going to be nice and tight to help him with his stability down through the shoulder. He's going to try to engage through his lats. And now we're going to work the elbows away from the ribs while we extend up overhead. And away we go. So if you see how Neil locked up top, he's nice and in line with his shoulders to his hips, right down to his ankles here. We don't have the bar. Just let me mess you up here for a bit, Neil. Out over in front. If we're having issues with here or we can't press getting back here, we're going to come off of this exercise for a bit, but we don't want this to be an incline press, so we want to be traveling up over this way. In this spot, he's going to feel locked in through his mid-back. His scapula is going to be nice and tight. And now we're going to work it back by drawing the elbows down towards the ribs, using your back. There we go. How's that?
All right, guys, so we went through a little bit of shoulder dysfunction stuff today. Mobility, kind of stretching stuff to try and work on and improve that. A little bit of lifting and form with the overhead press video. And just to finish off, just kind of some key take-home points for you guys and just final things to kind of think about, Tyler.
Even if you're not on shoulder day or you might be working through some different exercises, you can still always focus on holding that good posture while you're working through on pretty much any of your lifts. So if you're holding nice and neutral through here, you want to keep that. That's going to help to build some strength through your mid-back. If you're on a back day or any upper body day, you might want to throw in some of those band exercises that we showed you. That's going to help you to activate through your mid-back while you're working on your training. And that's just going to help to strengthen down that center line. And that's going to benefit you in the long run by being able to pull your shoulders back and work back into that good posture.
And also, just lastly, just ensuring that you always maintain that good posture. So a lot of times it might mean dialing back the weights a little bit, kind of resetting those movement patterns, and then rebuilding from there. So it's not always about pushing as much weight as possible. We want to make sure that we're pushing that weight and moving that weight as optimally and as safely as possible so the body's in proper alignment. Awesome. Thanks a lot,
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you taking the time to do this video blog for this week, and thanks for watching, you guys.